1, 2, 1, 2. Just get my notepad. Look at some of the points that I wanted to talk about today on meditation, which actually was probably, well, so far, I'd say it was probably the most dedicated I'd been to a monthly challenge. Not saying that I wasn't dedicated on other things, just I made sure that I absolutely hammered bloody meditation every day, and if I'd missed any days or anything like that, I made sure I went back, did double on some days and stuff like that. So here we are. Meditation, probably more commonly known as some mad Buddha, I want to say Buddha technique of relaxing the mind. When I say meditation, you might think of bloody Russell Brand, bloody Gandhi or something like that. Just some Zen character who's free, because they are probably spiritually free from practicing meditation and stuff like that, and being so in touch with their own mental space, usually known as cross-legged, probably on top of a mountain of some sorts. But it's a lot more than that, and meditation can be seen as this. It can also be seen as this, and it can be seen as this. So how is that all meditation? Well, probably because after this month, I've realised that meditation isn't one single thing which is confined to sitting cross-legged on top of a mountain or some stupid stuff like that. It is defined by being present, which is what you hear a lot if you follow any meditation apps or anything like that. You hear the key term, be present. Basically being aware of what's happening in your brain, what's happening around you. So on this month, I've been using my Calm membership, which is actually still live from last year's Meta. I've been doing bits and bats of meditation throughout the year after Meta, so it just comes in handy when you can literally open the app up. One day there'll be a completely new meditation session there for you to do, quick 10 minutes and then you're done. I'd recommend any app because meditation is a very challenging thing mentally, because if you don't come across many mental challenges such as meditating or maybe problem solving daily, it's hard to grasp the progress of meditating. Therefore, using an app like Calm or Headspace or something like that, they talk you through it. So, as I've just mentioned, being present was probably the most prevalent and relevant point emphasised in my meditation techniques. I also talked about this one on the podcast, which is tending, meaning say you have a thought, say you want to start investing. That's one of my things. I've been thinking of investing ever since June of last year, and I've been thinking about it, telling myself, get in early, whatever, reap the rewards, but I'm not actually acting on it. So by tending, what they are emphasising is a thought being a seed of some sort, and that seed is then tended to, like watering, sunlight, and therefore watching it grow, reaping the benefits and stuff like that. Tending is one thing that I want to almost take from this meditation month as, yeah, thoughts are good, and thoughts are probably the foundation blocks, but what is needed after a thought is the action itself and carrying out that action. Another one being progression. So I mentioned earlier how it is quite hard to track your progress in meditating, so they talk you a lot through progression, how not all progression is so visible, or it's not like seeing a test score or something like that where you're seeing progress increase all the time. It's something that does build up very slowly, and it's obviously in the background of your mind, so it's building up and actually taking form in some scenarios such as maybe like road rage or any other arguments or anything like that, where you won't notice you've made progress, but the progress comes to fruition in practical situations such as road rage and everything like that. Also, one, they talk about optimal anxiety, meaning using anxiety as a benefit. Anxiety is obviously a mental reflex almost to situations which are scary or where you're in danger. So they emphasise using anxiety, but using it as a benefit of stuff like heightened reactions and increased cognitive function and stuff like that. Just where you take a negative thing, which is anxiety in this case, and you benefit off of that. Acceptance was a big one that I learned, as it falls under the realm of patience almost. So you're accepting what is there, and that's one thing that you will experience in meditating, because you'll have to learn to accept that you're not going to be some Hindu master where you can just go straight hours meditating. And I've never been hours either. I've probably only ever done like 20 minutes or something like that, but it's what works for you. It's in the situation of meditation where you're accepting that you've gone off train of thought and you need to pull yourself back. So it's not being negative and being like, God, I can't do this or whatever. It's accepting that you're new to this thing. It takes time to develop. You've accepted that. So I'd want to emphasize the intro a lot, where I've said that meditation can be meditation itself, even if you're sitting cross-legged or anything like that. It can be reading, it can be working out, or I might even put a clip of a podcast in there, because even though it's not meditation itself, the reason I connote these activities as meditation is because it's such a autopilot thing. So it's where you're so mentally invested into something. So if you imagine you working out or something like that, you're forgetting all your daily worries or anything like that for that hour or so, and using energy, which is maybe from a negative situation or anything like that, turning it into a benefit, using it for energy for a workout and stuff like that. Reading is also great, because that also is diverting your mentality towards just one single thing, even if it's a story, even if it's a motivation book or something like that. You're giving your mind a break, and it's not a break as in go to sleep, clock off or anything like that. It's actually a workout, but it's quite obviously contradicting to say that it's both giving it a break and giving it a workout, because you're tiring the brain out by focusing on one single thing, but you're also freeing the brain by, instead of thinking of 20 things at once, like what have I got to do tomorrow, how have I prep my lunch, stuff like that. It's a lot more beneficial to focus on like one single stream of mental focus for 10 minutes. And not only that, it clears out your mind afterwards. So by referencing these activities and stuff like that, the reason it does correlate to meditation is because for that, whether it's an hour working out, whether it's 10 minutes reading, whether you are actually meditating, it's that time that you've dedicated to not worrying about anything else that's going on in your life. And it's also strengthening your brain by helping you to learn to focus more on things. And personally, my benefits that I feel like I've taken from this month is definitely what I've mentioned earlier, which is like road rage and stuff and arguments. So through meditation, you obviously develop some sort of mental resistance. I won't know if it's best to say resistance or patience, or patience is probably the underlying factor. So it's like I mentioned earlier, acceptance, whether it's in traffic or somebody's just pulled out on you, or you've got into an argument with somebody. Instead of patience being the last resort, it becomes the first resort. So you're going from having a negative reaction and a reflex of being shouting, getting angry, getting into a fight or something stupid like that, to, right, this is happening, I can accept that, I can live with it, I can't do nothing about it right now, so let's move on. And yeah, it is wet, and I've probably said some crazy things on here, sounding like Russell Brand and bloody Gandhi or whatever, talking a lot about positive and negative and energy and stuff like that, but it's them connotations towards meditation which not give it a bad rep, because it's not like you say you meditate and somebody's like or whatever, like, I don't even know. Like when you say meditation, you obviously get, like I've said earlier, just like hippies or anything like that. You'd think about that, but it's more than that. I genuinely believe it's more of a necessity for a lot of people. If people dedicated time out of the day, like to anything, whether it's working out or anything like that, if they dedicated that towards meditation, 10 minutes, literally, that's all I did for this past month gone, you would reap so many more benefits of patience and resistance to reflexes and stuff like that, which in the long run would just make daily life a lot better for yourself, because you can accept things that are out of your control. You can have a lot more patience with people because you understand their intentions are not as bad as you perceiving it to be. But I digress. Russell Brand V2 is cooling down for this video, but highly recommend using Calm, which is what I use, but there's Headspace and loads of other meditation apps. Have a play about with them, see which ones you like the best, and get meditating, because you can do all you want in the gym, but at the end of the day, it's this thing up here that's powering everything in your body, and you best take care of that first than anything else. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you at next one.